Good morning, everybody. I'm glad you could join us for coffee again today. Hope you had a nice week and even a nicer weekend. And once again, a shout out to our retired Vincentians in Perryville, Missouri, and those that are there for healing. And I have a special shout out to people who are in need of healing, have asked for our prayers. And so please remember Caitlin and Mike and Michael, and Cosmo and Bob, and Vicky and Blanche. Keep them in your prayers. So here's what's on my mind. In Sunday's readings, the first reading is from St. Peter. It's about his wild sermon to the people. And it went something like this, and I'm paraphrasing, and it was pretty much he was upset at how people just didn't believe in Jesus. And so his sermon was this: the God of our fathers, and he's talking to people of his own, family and friends, and it's the God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. That God glorified his servant Jesus. That Jesus whom you put on a cross. You wanted the release of a prisoner, and yet you wanted Jesus to die on a cross. Now, I know it was out of ignorance. You didn't know any better. But I'm going to tell you now, it's time to get with the program. I thought, man, wouldn't it be neat to have Peter talking today? It's time to get with the program. It's time to get on board. It's time to believe in Jesus and what he wanted. He gave his life. I was thinking, the events of our world, and there's such a challenge to belief or to faith. And they're not the same thing. I did some research this week so you wouldn't have to find out, the difference between belief and faith. And here's what I found out. Belief is admitting the possibility of a God. The possibility. Faith is the realization of a God. And it's probably because of a God experience. Having had a God experience, then you're willing to trust and put your faith in that God and in his word. And that's the difference. Belief is just admitting the possibility that God exists. Faith is admitting and having the reality that God exists. And it probably comes from a God experience. So my inspiration is going to be a story for you. And it's a story about a man during the war, the World War II. And, Germany was just ravaging country after country. And there's a story of a man who lived on a farm, didn't have much. And he escaped and he went into the hills and he took all that he owned. He took his Bible and he took his dog, and then he had a little pet rooster. And they went up into the hills. And he brought along a lamp that he could light so he could read the Bible. So here he is up in the hills, and all of a sudden the wind blows, knocks his lamp over, and he can't read. He falls asleep, and he wakes up. His rooster is gone, and his dog is gone. And he probably figured that, some animals came along or whatever. So he got up and he went into town. There's a little town he was outside of, and he was figuring, I'll find a place there, get something to eat, and stay. The town was empty. The soldiers had come through and destroyed the town and killed everybody. I mean, it was a small town, but still. And he started thinking to himself, if that lamp didn't fall over and go out, if the rooster was there and the dog was still there, the rooster would have crowed, the dog would have barked, and the soldiers went right through that place. So the lamp going out, the dog gone, the rooster gone, saved his life. He got down on his knees. This now was a man of faith, because it wasn't just a coincidence. And I think, for me, I'm always looking now for where God is at work, because I do believe you can expect miracles to happen if your belief turns to faith, because you have an experience now where God was at work. And I think miracles are happening all the time. It may not be a candle going out or a lamp falling over or a warning sign gone, but God is at work. And so that's my thought for this week, that we look for where God is at work, so that our faith is then one of experience of God. We look for him all the time. That's why we say our mission prayer. We say it for miracles, that God would be at work to help us. So I ask you to join me as we say our mission prayer. Divine Savior, transform me into yourself. May my hands be your hands. May my tongue be your tongue. Grant that every faculty of my body may serve only to glorify you. Above all, transform my soul and all its powers, that my memory, my will, and my affections may be the memory, the will, and the affections of you. I pray you to destroy in me all that is not of you. Grant that I may live but in you, and by you, and for you, and that I may truly say with St. Paul, I live now, not I, but Christ lives in me. Glad you joined us. Stay safe. See you next week.